What is this? It's candlelight. All my body starts to shiver. Worries will my mother hide. Oh, I've never felt like this before. Got to let it go. I'll shout it out. I will sing it from the heart. Woohoo! This is right, this is good. Expressions of elation. A state of mind of which I'll try to re-echo from the start. Come on, shout it out and release it from the heart. Woo-hoo! This is what it all comes down to. When you need to let it all through.
I heard sirens in my head from the first time that we met. Thought it was a false alarm. Yeah, we started as a spark. Didn't think we'd come this far, but here we are. Oh yeah, I'm dancing in flames. I'm dancing in flames. I ain't scared of the blaze. Don't rescue me. Oh yeah, and now I'm burning in your arms, and this fire in my heart. No, it's not a false alarm. No, it's not a false alarm. But here we are. Oh yeah, I never get my hopes up, 'cause then I'll never get let down. But you were something special I didn't notice until now.
Good afternoon to you all, and a very warm welcome on this happy, important occasion. My name's Julie, I'm a civil celebrant, and it will be my absolute privilege to conduct Lucy and Ben's ceremony for you here today. Love is the reason this day was chosen by you both to begin your new lives together. And love is the reason why you will give your hearts for the good of each other. Love is the reason that together you will become one in hope, one in believing in life, one in sharing the common years. As many of you will know, Lucy and Ben met nearly 8 years ago. Most of their early dates were spent in Ben's small flat, watching scary movies. Lucy hated this and spent much of her time with her eyes closed, only pretending to watch. I guess she was trying to play it cool. Ben had no idea she wasn't a fan, and it was only very recently that she confessed this to him. Their relationship progressed fairly quickly. They spent most of their time together, and by the end of the year, Lucy had moved into Ben's flat. In June 2012, they bought their first home together in Hampton. It was around this time they embarked on a charity raising event, the Mongol Rally, driving 10,000 miles from Goodwood to Mongolia. On returning home, Lucy became poorly, ending up in hospital. When she was feeling better, Ben bought their first dog, Baxter. Luna would come the following April. In 2013, Ben suggested working together and setting up a business for Lucy. This was an amazing opportunity. The business became very successful and continues to be so. Time moved on, and one day in 2017, Lucy noticed the airing cupboard door was ajar. Unusual, she thought. On investigation, she saw a big white box inside. Unable to resist having a look, she then found a small box inside that held an engagement ring. After confessing all to Ben, they then went to see Lucy's parents, and the rest, as they say, is history and what brings us here today. So today they celebrate their love for each other with their family and friends here to witness their joining in marriage and their continuing love. Could I ask who gives Lucy's hand in marriage?
I do.
Thank you. You may sit down. Thank you. Marriage is much more than a legal contract. It depends upon the promises made by two people to each other and are kept by them throughout their lives. Marriage, according to the law of this country, is the union of one man and one woman, entered into for life to the exclusion of all others, to provide love and friendship, comfort and support that each ought to have for the other, both in times of joy as today and also in difficult times. A good marriage is created by having a mutual sense of values and common aims, by speaking and demonstrating words of appreciation. Marriage is trusting, loving and respecting each other for the rest of your lives. It's concentrating on each other's needs and bringing joy, love and strength into your relationship. Marriage is a journey for you both, united together into the future. I would now like to ask Cliff to come forward and read our reading today called I Only Belong to You.
I only belong to you. Of all that I can give you my heart and soul. Nothing can ever compare. For you, my love, I'd give all. This newfound feeling I can't quite describe, but it gives me warmth deep down inside. It gives me a reason to smile every day. It gives me hope and it shows me the way. In good times and bad, I'll be there through it all, never turning my back, never letting you fall. I would give anything for us to be together, for you are irreplaceable. Our love will last forever. I would never forsake you or make you hurt inside. I would never lie to you. Instead, faithfulness in me you'll find. With all this that I'm telling you, I want you to know my love is true. It will never belong to another. My love can only belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Cliff. Ben and Lucy, you are here today to declare your marriage vows and affirm your love and commitment to each other. So if I could ask you both to turn and face each other and declare your vows of love. Traditionally, we start with the groom. So Ben.
Lucy, I've always known I've been punching above my weight, but looking at you today, the reality is really starting to set in. But I'm not just marrying you for being incredibly good looking. I'm marrying you for your mind. You're kind, funny, adaptable, ambitious, compassionate, loyal, energetic, determined and bright. The adventures we've shared together over the last 8 years, some known by others, some form part of a large book of inside jokes and stories, have built a solid foundation for us to build upon. I'm certain during the remainder of our lives, the book of happy stories and inside jokes will grow in size, and I can't wait to start filling it under a new chapter, Married Life. I could talk for hours about why I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with you, but more importantly is my promise that I will love you always, protect and support you, encourage you to chase dreams that make you happy, and steer you away from those that make you sad. I won't obey you, but I will compromise, listen and occasionally empty the dishwasher. This is my solemn vow.
And now Lucy, if you'd like to read your vows to Ben.
Ben, as I stand here today before you, I give myself to you, choosing you above all others to spend my life with. Together we can achieve anything. We have an unbreakable bond as best friends and now as husband and wife. I promise to always love, protect and encourage you, and I will always accept your apology, even when you never give me one. I will forever moan about your socks being strewn across the living room floor and your inability to put anything in or take anything out of the dishwasher. I think you do truly believe in the clean-up fairy. I promise to frustrate you and challenge you and frequently remind you that you are not always right, because I am, and we can't always both be. Your ability to make me laugh with your silly post-shower dances or your... all the little characters that you've created will always crack me up, and I hope that in 50 years' time, Clampy will still make an appearance every now and then. It's fair to say we are the complete opposite when it comes to trying new things or activities. You are brave and annoyingly pretty amazing at anything that you put your hand to, whereas I am cautious and hesitant and can barely climb the water rafts at Rutland. I think you nearly died laughing at me stuck at the top of that slide, but I promise I will always give things a go with you. I will forever be grateful to your courage and determination, and most randomly of all, vaping, for bringing you to Peterborough and into my life. The life you have given me far outweighs any of your annoying habits. Through tears and hopefully much laughter, I will love always only you. Thank you.
That's really good.
Should we turn the mic around?
I've got a runny nose. Yes, thank you.
Ben. Do you, Ben, take Lucy to be your wife in equal love from this day forward, for better for worse, in sickness and in health, for richer and poorer? Do you always promise to protect, honour, inspire and encourage each other, and to cherish, love and be faithful for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Lucy, do you take Ben to be your husband in equal love from this day forward, for better for worse, in sickness and in health, for richer and poorer? Do you promise to protect, honour, inspire and encourage each other, and to cherish, love and be faithful for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Once in a lifetime you find someone who touches not only your heart but also your soul. Once in a lifetime you find someone who stands beside you, not over you. You find someone who loves you for who you are and for not who you could be. Once in a lifetime you find someone as you, Ben and Lucy, have found each other. A ring is a never-ending circle. It has no beginning and no end. It's placed on the third finger of the left hand. This was a custom that began in the Roman times, as they believed there was a vein running straight from that finger to the heart, and it is a custom that we have carried on. So, Noah and Jack, please, the rings.
Go to Jack. Thank you.
So, first of all, we have Lucy's ring.
If we don't get blown away first.
Yeah.
The little hook.
Don't shake too much, Jack.
No.
Ben, again we start with you. Please take the ring and place it on Lucy's finger and repeat these words after me. Lucy, I give you this ring as a token of my love and affection.
Lucy, I give you this ring as a token of my love and affection.
And as a seal that I am yours and you are mine.
And a seal that I am yours and you are mine.
This ring is my promise to always love and support you, to care for you and comfort you.
This ring is my promise to love and support you,
to care and comfort
you,
and to always be at your side.
And to always be by your side.
So we may face this adventure together as one.
So we may face this adventure together as one.
Lucy, please could you take Ben's ring and place on his finger? And repeat after me. Ben, I give you this ring as a token of my love and affection.
Ben, I give you this ring as a token of my love and affection.
And as a seal that I am yours and you are mine.
and
as a
seal that I am yours and you are mine.
This ring is my promise.
This ring is my promise.
To always love and support you.
To always love and support you.
To care for and comfort you.
To care for and comfort you.
And to always be by your side.
And to always be by your side.
So that we may face this adventure together as one.
So that we may face this adventure together as one.
As you pledge to share your lives together, you promise to care tenderly and support each other and encourage each other. Through this commitment, you may find fulfillment in this new chapter of your lives. Marriage should bring happiness to you both in all that you share. I would now like to deliver today's final reading called The Promise. The sun danced on the snow with a glittering smile, as two lovers sat quietly, alone for a while. Then he turned and said, with a casual air, though he blushed from his toes to the tips of his hair, "I think I'd quite like to get married to you." "Well then," she said, "well there's a thought. But what if we can't vow to be all that we ought? Can you promise to say you won't grumble and shout? And if I'm late yet again when we plan to go out? For I know I can't say that I'll learn to ignore dirty socks and damp towels strewn all over the floor. So if we can't promise to be all that we should, I'm not sure what to do, though the idea's quite good." But he gently smiled and tilted his head till his lips met her ear. Then he softly said, "I promise to weave my dreams into your own, that wherever you breathe shall be my heart's home. I promise that whether with rags or with gold I am blessed, your smile is a jewel I shall treasure the best. Do you think then, my love, we should marry, do you?" "Yes," she said, smiling, "I do." Ben and Lucy, you have both promised to love and support one another in the years ahead through the difficult times you might experience. You have openly and sincerely declared your love and commitment to each other and affirmed your belief in the precious truth that love is the foundation of life. Ben and Lucy, may every new tomorrow bring new beauty for you to discover, new joys to fill your hearts and new dreams to guide you on your way. May every tomorrow draw you closer to each other. May every tomorrow keep the promise of today. I truly hope that you will remember to always keep the romance alive as you have today and nurture the love that you have for each other. There will be many I love yous along the way, and I hope that you will indeed celebrate all the special days you share. Remember what attracted you to each other and celebrate it often. May good fortune surround you both on your journey ahead and through all your years to come. May happiness be your companion and may your days on earth be long. And remember, life is short. Break the rules, forgive quickly, kiss slowly, love truly, laugh uncontrollably, and never regret anything that makes you smile. It has been our privilege being here today with you both, and it gives me great pleasure to announce you as husband and wife. And Ben, I think there's another custom you've probably been waiting for. You may kiss your bride.
Let's get drunk, I'll pour my heart up through my mouth. This year's been hard for us, no doubt. Let's raise a glass to a better one. Let all the things that we've overcome bring home to us, cause me and you, we can hold this out. Only you understand how I'm feeling now, yeah. And I know I can tell you anything. You won't judge, you're just listening, yeah. Cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Cause my darling, you and I can take over the world, and one step at a time, just you and I. Cause you're the only one who brings light just like the sun. One step at a time, just you and I. Let's get drunk, we'll reminisce about the day we were broke, not getting paid, and taking trips at the weekend when I would drive down to see her, and we would paint the town. Too many shots I'd be passing out, cause I could never keep up. Quad words, now I'm puking open. I know I can tell you anything. You won't judge, you're just listening, yeah. Cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. 'Cause my darling, you and I took over the world, one step at a time, just you and I. 'Cause you're the only one, and I just like the sun, one step at a time, just you and I.
Well, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to Glebe Farm Barn this afternoon. A tad windier than we'd hoped for, but you've all travelled to be here today and we appreciate it, and to join with us in celebrating the marriage of my lovely Lucy and Ben. Now, some have travelled further from the United States and from Sweden and Dubai to be with us here, and it's a fantastic effort to do that, and we really do appreciate it. Now, of course, there are family members who can't be with us today, and there are family members who are unfortunately no longer with us. And I think on a family occasion like this, it's good that we remember those that we'd hoped would have been with us here today and what they would have added to the occasion. Now, it's my privilege to talk about my daughter as her father, and a lot of people, or some say, that Lucy can be described as stubborn or short-tempered, but of course that can't be right, because it's also said that she takes after me. Now, I think I would like to describe her as a very determined young lady. And I think that probably goes back to when she was actually born. And so if you can picture the scene, that we had a very heavily pregnant Jill in a plaster because she'd had an unfortunate accident and broken her arm. And I had been to the dentist and had a face out here with stitches. And when I came home, I said to Jill, I said, really what I want to do is to take some painkillers and go to bed. And she said, well, I'm feeling nothing at all, so take what you want, go to bed, and everything will be fine. So, of course, I take the tablets, head off to bed. 3 hours later, when we're in the delivery room at Hinchinbrook Hospital, and the nurses are diving in between Jill in labour, and then back to me with my swollen face, that was the night that Lucy decided to join us. And of course, we've loved her ever since. Then if we move forward 5 or 6 years to the day that she came to us, her mum and I, and said that she wanted to become a vegetarian. That she had decided that she didn't like meat anymore, and it was cruel. And we said, well, Jill and I to ourselves said, well, that's fine, that's okay. Give it 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm sure she will have seen the light and come back to sausages. But she hasn't, and here we are sort of 20-odd years later, and she's still a devout vegetarian. And I think that shows her commitment to that. We move forward again a few years till the age of 17, when, of course, she could apply for a driving license. Now, I'd only had one experience of trying to teach somebody to drive, which was my eldest daughter, Rebecca, and it consisted of one lesson that didn't go particularly well. It ended up with Becca in tears, saying, I'm never going out with you again, and it was all over just a simple misunderstanding. But the misunderstanding was about the word stop. But I thought that would probably save me from Lucy ever wanting me to take her out, but of course it didn't. And being Lucy and being determined, every night, I think, basically, I would leave London to drive home, and part of the way home, the phone would ring, and it would be Lucy saying, do you think we could go out driving tonight? Of course, I would say yes. And then it would be the next night, and the next night, and the next night. But she was determined to learn to drive as quickly as she could. And it worked, because you did pass first time. So that was, again, another example of the determination that she had. Bear with me. Right, now again, we move forward a little bit, and she was then working for Anglian Water at the time, where she met some great people who are here today, and they're great friends of ours. And while she was working there, she actually decided what she wanted to be was a police officer. And the best way to become a police officer was to become a special constable. And so she duly joined and did whatever training was necessary and was uniformed up, and out she was on the streets of Cambridgeshire. Well, of course, Jill and I were pleased that she decided she wanted to be a police officer. Being on the streets of Cambridge, looking after people messing about, we weren't too keen on. But that's really what she wanted to do. And it was at that time that she came to us and she said she'd met a young man. And as any father would, I said, oh, well, that's nice. And his name's Ben. Oh, fine. Yeah, and what does Ben do? He says, well, he's in electric cigarettes. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell's an electric cigarette? I've never heard of it. And she explained the vaping process. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that's never going to catch on. I mean, that's never going to catch on. So that just really shows what little I know and what a lot Ben perhaps knows. Then as their relationship developed, I think the policing began to take a little bit of a backward step. And that culminated in one evening where there was a knock on the door, and I opened the door and there was two police officers standing there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? But it wasn't for me. They just popped round on the off chance of seeing Lucy again, because they said, well, we haven't seen much in the way of her special constabling. She'd gone from 3 or 4 nights a week to none. And was it at all possible for them to have their warrant card back? Because they said, we can't have somebody having a warrant card who's not actually doing any policing. And I said, I'm sure, guys, leave it with me, I'll sort it out. And I had to explain to them that that's what love does for you. And then not long into their relationship, they came to us and said, well, we want to have an adventure. And again, Jill and I thought, oh, great, yeah, what are you going to do? Go to Spain on a holiday or something? But of course, this being Ben and Lucy, no, that's not what they had in mind at all. It was to buy an old banger of a car and to do it up a little bit and then to set off to drive to Mongolia. Well, of course, again, Jill and I, even though we might have supported the idea, in our own hearts we're thinking, oh my God, I mean, what is going to happen here? But soon enough, the car was bought and it was prepared and all liveried up. And then everybody set off to Goodwood for the fond farewell. And we had a lovely day then. It was the first time that we met Ben's parents. And the time came to say goodbye. And of course, these were tearier occasions. And it came to the final goodbye. And that goodbye was Ben coming up to me and looking me square in the eye. And he said, please, don't worry. He says, I'm going to look after and take care of her. And he did. And I think it's fair to say that I've loved him ever since. And that brings me pretty much up to today, where you have taken vows, where you both really have to start looking after each other, or continue looking after each other, from now into the future. And so it really only remains for me to ask you all, please, to join with me in a toast to Lucy and Ben, the bride and groom.
My turn. So, first of all, I'd like to thank Visa and MasterCard for sponsoring today's event. Without this, it completely wouldn't be possible, and I'll forever be in their debt. So, I'd like to reaffirm thanks to all of you for coming. As Cliff said, we've got family from America, people from Dubai and Sweden that have come down, so thank you for that extra long trip that you've made. Secondly, I'd like to thank Cliff and Jill for trusting me with their daughter that I can now call my wife. As Cliff mentioned, I remember making that promise to protect Lucy when we set off on the Mongol rally, but I think I've now converted that promise from a promise to something that is universally understood in every country across the world, and that's marriage. So yeah, we'll move forward with that. I'm incredibly grateful to be officially part of Lucy's family, and equally happy that Lucy now forms part of mine. Mum, Dad, thanks for supporting me over the last 29 years. I know you're still probably shocked about how you made such an amazing human. Good looking, smart, intelligent, and incredibly humble. To all my friends who I've created countless memories with, thank you for making me laugh uncontrollably over the years and always having my back. Bridesmaids, goes without saying that you look effortlessly stunning. I've lost most of you, wherever you are. Lucy means, you mean the world to Lucy, and the day definitely wouldn't be the same without you here, and thank you for helping her along the way. Groomsmen, you're nowhere near as attractive, but thanks for trying. And a big thank you to everyone that helped. It took us 5 days to set today up, so we definitely wouldn't have been able to get it done without all the help from everyone that was involved. Lastly, but far from least, is my outrageously beautiful wife, Lucy. She's incredibly talented, deserves all of the credit for today. She single-handedly designed, made, and sourced everything that's here today. So all of the credit needs to go to her. So a final toast from me to love, friends, and family. Cheers. Cheers. And in a moment, I'm going to be passing over to the best man to do his speech, and I want to make clear that anything bad he says about me is fake news. Anything good he says should be taken on face value and is complete fact.
Hello everyone. I'm going to move away from that. As Ben rightly said, my name is Jack. I'm his younger brother, and unfortunately for all of you, the best man today. So, as you can probably imagine, the lead up to this speech was a pretty nerve-wracking experience for me, especially the last 5 minutes or so. But I was given some good advice by a work colleague of mine who told me that imagining everyone in the audience naked is a really good way of mitigating those nerves. So had that firmly in my mind as I was walking up to collect the microphone, but quickly realised the huge issue with that advice when I stared directly at my parents, which was an extremely scarring experience for me, to be honest with you. And I do just want to start by thanking Lucy and Ben on behalf of the bridesmaids, the groomsmen and myself for being given the opportunity to play such an important part today. It's a huge honour for me, and I'm sure it's probably a huge honour for them as well. And speaking of the bridesmaids, don't they look absolutely fantastic today on these two tables here? They've done such a good job convincing Lucy to actually follow through with the wedding, so we should be extremely thankful, otherwise we wouldn't have all this free food and booze to enjoy. As well as that, I'm sure we can all agree that Lucy looks absolutely stunning today. We should congratulate Jill and Cliff as well for passing on their fantastic genetics. Well done, you two. And on the other hand, Mum and Dad, well, at least you've got me. Now, I know how much hard work Lucy has put into organising the wedding today. Not just her, there's been a small contingent of people who have been working for the past 3 days. Just imagine this barn completely empty, and look what it is now. So all of them have done a fantastic job, so if we get a round of applause for them as well. And Ben, well, you just keep sitting there enjoying yourself. Thanks. Yeah? You're going to get your wallet back on Monday, I've heard, so you've got that to look forward to. Now, before I move on to the ritualistic character assassination that comes with all of these best man speeches, I do have a couple of messages from a few people who couldn't actually attend today, but still wanted to pass on their well wishes to Lucy and Ben. So the first one is to you, Lucy. Dear Lucy, it was nice while it lasted, but I guess we'll have to call it a day now you're married. Love, Tom Hardy. And there's one for you as well, Ben. Dearest Ben, thanks for the weekends lazing by the pool. I do hope you've made the right choice. Much love, Michael Barrymore. Now, whilst preparing for this speech, I thought to myself what stories I could tell that would make Ben squirm. I know a lot of truly horrendous stories about Ben, ranging from his youth to his time in the army. I quickly realised that most of these are not the sort you can utter even during a best man speech, so that cut my source material quite drastically. Instead, I thought about what characterised the relationship that Ben and I actually have. You see, we both have the unfortunate character trait passed down by our dad in which we always think we're right and everyone else is wrong. And that led to a few clashes between Ben and I growing up, especially when he failed to accept that he was always wrong. So I decided that I should use this grand occasion to shame Ben and bring finality to our 25-year-long battle for brotherly superiority. And to do so, I've just made a small list of things detailing why I'm the better brother. Firstly, physical superiority. We're brothers, so we had a lot of fights growing up, as you would imagine. I suppose the big issue for Ben was that most older brothers aren't consistently physically dominated by the younger brother, which now I've said out loud, kind of wish I worded in a different way. Secondly, mental superiority. I, unlike Ben, have more than 4 GCSEs. See, I thought it was lower then, but Mum told me it was 4, so... Well, surprise. And thirdly, yeah, I can spell. I didn't think that many people would get that one, to be honest with you. Now, I could be here all day going through this list. It's a big list. But I do want to get drunk at some point today, and preferably within the next half an hour, so I'll finish there, and we're going to move on to the serious part of the speech now. So everyone's brought their tissues. So in all seriousness now, a vast number of my fondest childhood memories have involved you, Ben. They normally involve us laughing till we were breathless, and there's going to be a lack of context for most people here, but upside down chin-faced man is forever going to be one of my fondest memories. I only wish I had the video to show everyone, because it's a lot funnier than it sounds. And I do look up to Ben because he continually sets the bar high. And as a brother, he provides me with the motivation to keep pushing myself forward, to keep trying to make myself better. And to be honest, the best thing you could possibly ask for from an older brother is someone you look up to and someone who's a role model. And Ben is exactly that for me. Don't you start, you make me start. At the same time, both Ben and I would be absolutely nowhere without the support and guidance of our parents, Jane and Paul. Ben has already testified to the fact that, the foundations that you have provided are so immeasurably important in everything we do. So, on behalf of both of us, thank you for all of that. And as I near the end of the speech, I do just want to talk about Ben and Lucy and how well suited they are for one another. Cliff has already discussed the Mongolian rally. I think that's probably a good spot for me to touch on as well. Is it that bad? See, by my reckoning, if you can manage to spend a month together in a car driving from the UK to Mongolia, during which time you bribe a Ukrainian police officer, run away from gunned up Russians, set fire to your car, and then drive through Mongolian streets with no wheel on, and by the end of all of that you decide to actually stay together, then you probably are well suited for one another. And over the last 9 years, I've watched your relationship grow. And it's quite clear to me how much you care for one another and how lucky you are to have found each other, especially you, Ben. And in truth, Lucy, you've been like a sister to me long before Ben proposed to you. Now, traditionally, the best man also needs to provide some form of marriage advice, but I don't have much experience in that regard. So I would instead point to our respective parents, Jill and Cliff, Mum and Dad, and say that if you base your marriage on theirs, you're going to be very happy for a very, very long time. With that said, Lucy, allow me to unofficially welcome you to our stupidly large family. So, on behalf of the Wises, the Porters, the Pauls, the Leonards, the Gillams, the Goodens, the Oxleys and the Potters, welcome. I hope I've got everyone there. And good luck.
your perfect imperfections. Give your